really weird.
I'm
Um,
like, yeah.
I'm still trying to make it make sense, but it
Yeah,
was
I
an
kind of
interesting.
gave up, and I like puzzles.
Yeah.
I'm about a puzzle. I'm a girl who doesn't like to give up, but I was like, okay, I don't know what's going on, and
Right.
every
It
time
was really
I feel
weird.
dumb, and I don't really want to keep trying.
Right.
So yeah, so maybe it's simplified, but I'm glad you were there. I didn't know it wasn't recorded, but I am going to listen to us whatever you guys chatted about too. So thanks for doing this show. I kept thinking it was 7:30 because last week that's what it was. I was so confused. So I don't know why my brain's playing with me. So we're going to do it at 6:30 my time, 8:30 your time, and 5:30 your time. Is that the way now?
That's
Mhm.
what we've been
Yeah.
doing.
Mhm. Oh yeah, you was on vacation, so I understand.
I'm in it. I'm in it. But yeah, we had fun. We went to my friend made this with ice and tie dyed it with ice. How crazy is that? She
Well,
Oh,
put
that's
like
dope.
pretty though.
sinew on it where the ice, where the
That's
white is.
super cool.
Look at
Yeah,
that,
I like it.
Mm. That is very
right?
dope. I like
My
that.
friend just made it at the party we were at. She's been making these, and so she's selling them. It's $30. She's gonna be going to a festival that Zion Reiki won, and she made this great hat. Where's the hat? It's corny, but I loved it too.
No, that's dope.
No,
And
the
it's
colors
thin.
was cool. I love the.
Aren't
Yeah, I
that
like the
great?
colors.
Yeah,
So
I can
this,
cut you guys a couple of hats. I still want to mail you giraffes, hats and giraffes coming. Then they're great, right? Proud of her.
if there's this color wave, I think the Goppy Love. That's why I say the Nine of Hearts, right? Unconditional love. But I keep on seeing tie dye. I think that is something that needs to come into. I'm just a tourist here in California, so but there's a lot of gang violence and interpretation of colors. But as
Yeah.
far as unity, that they're trying to promote, I would love to what I want to do is donate some T-shirts and white shirts for them to tie dye in the sense of unity and peace.
Yeah. Well, look
So
at all the
yeah.
colors in there that come out. I mean, that's the whole thing. Like, we're all the colors of the rainbow. They're meant to work together. They're not in any kind of contest. Like, come on. And I can't wait to hear what you talked about if love's an action or not, because I thought about that a lot during the week. And I really was noticing the way I was showing love. And I would say it is an action, but it's also a feeling
Hmm.
that makes you want to act.
Right. One is a result of the other. Yeah.
Like a generous, kind of open hearted feeling. And then it makes you want to give love or show love.
Mm.
So that's what I gave to after all my analyzing.
No, no, I definitely. I'm trying to think back to what we were speaking about, and that was in representation of that. But as far as the feelings and the emotions,
Mm-hmm.
we were talking about having unconditional love. As far as a replay, rewind, as far as the conversation, your actions, as far as love being unconditional. Treating people fairly. You know, being in tune with your emotions, right? And the vibrations of what's around you, and being critical of that sometimes as well. I think that can cause you to act or react, you know, we'll say violently, for some people, or maybe go off into escapism, into drugs, or into other things, right? Based
Mm-hmm.
upon the feelings and the emotions that you may have. um, so, yeah, your emotions and your feelings cause you to react a certain way, and they create a certain environment around you, and they can create a reputation for yourself as well, right? Depending on who you are. But seven of diamonds and stuff can be quiet, hidden people. They have the jack of spades. They can be the people of many masks, very creative, organized, depending on who they are, and as far as their train of thought. So, but yeah, it's definitely a energy where to understand who you are, your value, the value of your feelings, the feelings of other people, to try to define that. I think that's a world that they kind of live in. To live in that world, right?
Mm-hmm. Had a metaphor from the garden today. So the garden, we kind of let it go. We kept watering it, but it really needed some weeding, like seriously. And it was a rather overcast day, so we were outside weeding. And there's these really cool, like little white flowers in this creeping vine. I was like, oh, they're so nice. Then I started to weed them. And as much as they look so lighthearted and pretty, they were weaving themselves around the tomato plants and the things and hosting themselves on so many other stuff that they were killing the tomato plants and the tomatillas and the peppers, right? So like needing for boundaries, it's like we welcome these pretty white flowers, but you cannot take the plant's life. Like you have to be on the edge over there. You grow as pretty as you want, but you don't come in here and wrap yourself around the tomato plant so you pull it down and it can't grow tomatoes. Do you know? So I think that's a great garden metaphor for the, that's what I was talking about in the garden today. It's like, look at these things. They're so pretty. I want to just let them be, but they're sticky and they're on top of you and they're holding back life force sometimes. So saying like, actually, I don't mind hanging out with you, but could you just go over there a little bit? Like that's, like, you know, can we just like see each other with a little bit more space? Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's just one example of boundaries. We all have to create boundaries in our own different type of ways. Some people are, you can be over mothering, over loving, you have to create boundaries with drugs, alcohol, or whatever it may be, right? And know that there is a certain point where you can exhaust something, whatever it may be, or being exhausting to other people. But yeah, I'm a projector, so I'm one of those people that have to be invited because I can be extra, I can be a little excited. So I've learned to draw back, myself a lot and reserve myself. I think that just coming growing up, I can be very isolated. Kind of said last week, I'm an only child, right? So but I have very passionate emotions. So I've learned to kind of draw it back and to understand and how to kind of use those emotions. But when I get into relationships, that's when I let go and I can be overly emotional within my relationship because I'm holding back my emotions everywhere else in life, right? So when I get into a relationship, now I'm like overly bearing within the relationship, or I can be fearful, or though, like you said, where those emotions. I was watching that video earlier. You were saying the emotions can turn into anxiety and can turn into fear, right?
Mhm.
But when you're over loving or
Well, it's
too
all
emotional.
about being authentic with your emotion, right? Because part of what makes it get like swelling and uncomfortable is hiding it, right?
Hmm.
So in this equine therapy, that's a component of the place that I work at. One of the things that they say, and I'm learning firsthand more and more, is, oh, wait a minute. So the horse responds to your authentic expression. So if you come out to the horse and act like nothing's bothering you and you're just fine, you try to do it, the horse is like, what's going on with you? Like, well, I'm not working with you, right? But if you're authentic with where you're at and kind of like sitting in it and moving through it, the horse is right there to work with you. I was like, oh, that's fascinating. So they're just hypersensitive to the emotional content of the people near them. So if you're standing strong and clear and also admitting a little bit of fear but trying to hold your center, they're going to work with you. But if you're like, oh yeah, and just acting like whatever, they're going to be like, who the heck are you? So I think that's such an interesting thing to think that we'll have a certain ease in relating when people are just authentic with what they're feeling and not hiding it because of whatever decision we made to act like we don't have feelings.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's also trained as well,
Yeah,
as
true,
we
true.
come up in childhood and
Hmm.
things that we kind of trained to kind of do and to react based upon our environment, you know. So yeah, the habits that we create within love and relationships, our emotions also dictate the habits that we create for ourselves. And we have to let some of those things go. They're not healthy, or learn how to change and to dilate. I think when you speak about the horses, I know equestrian. I believe that's how you say it,
Equine,
right? But
equine
equi,
therapy, but it's
equi,
equestrian, yeah, but it's equine therapy with
okay.
horses.
Um, so whenever I know someone that kind of work with horses, but yeah, I didn't know that I know they're kind of like very emotionally in tune, right?
Hmm.
With the people that they work with.
Hmm.
A lot of times they can be, what they call like
Hmm.
companions to people that have emotional problems and those things. So
Yeah, they help
yeah.
regulate. They help you regulate because they need you to be regulated for them to be
Hmm.
able to work with you.
Right, exactly.
That's
You
probably
have
why
to
it's part of
regulate
therapy, because emotional
like a
regulation,
tuning fork.
yeah, that's a huge part of mental health, right? When you can regulate your emotions, all of a sudden you're just not as crazy as you thought you were.
Yeah, they can feel you. They know what's going on. You
Hmm.
know. Yeah. Actually, I was raised around horses, but I never got to like physically work with them. So I think that's pretty something I want to get into as I get older, get a little bit more time. But yeah, the Nine of Hearts. Also, what's interesting with the Nine of Hearts, it actually goes into animals. You know, actually working with the animals into pets. You know, that's actually one of the um, things with the Nine of Hearts. Actually, we haven't even really related to that. That's also another way, as far as astrologically, you can probably look at it a little bit between the Seven of Diamonds, Venus, then Saturn, Nine of Hearts, sitting Saturn. For anyone who want to go into astrological context, I know like Virgo and those aspects, and Jupiter depends on the size animal and those things. But you know, astrology has so many different contexts and to it. Trying to come back in.
Yeah, my
There you
computer died.
go. Okay. But yeah,
Yep.
so the Nine of Hearts, somebody said I talk to animals. That's dope.
No, keep going.
So but yeah, so the Nine of Hearts goes into those aspects we were talking about, being the humanitarian, being agape love. So that agape love goes into animals, and that's why I was talking about the snake. I didn't say it, but into my distinction and curiosity and the relationship between the Nine of Hearts and animals was the vibration and temperament, trying to understand people and being highly sensitive, right? Um, that's why they say, you know, animals and pets are man's best friend, right? So we create these relationships without any judgment, you know. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I'm going so deep on this stuff, but I can't help it. The Mary Magdalene stuff that I've, been part of and connected to help me grow from the inside out. It calls for a black snake and a gold snake, or like yellow snake, and those two energies come up from our chakras and they weave, right? And they meet our mind to help expand the pineal gland, right? So those energies of the snake, it's interesting how we have fear around it when that ability to move up ourselves is actually what creates a connection to our higher self.
Yeah, it goes into Kundalini, DNA, you know,
Mm-hmm.
the essence of life and death, you know, and the state. But yeah, it's a something that we can't escape. You know, it's how we create life. It's the physical essence and patterns of life where everything's attached to modern medicine and all those things. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like actually was thinking about the Seven of Diamonds is that being a physician and the doctor and the health aspects of it as well, because it sits Saturn. So if there can be ailments or illnesses. You know, I was thinking about the Alicia aspects of the Vedic. So health illnesses and those things can come from. Is it the Maka? I have to look at it again. I was looking at both of those, so I was getting those things too cross. I'm looking at a lot of information lately, but the pattern of those two Vedic placements is health ailments or be it being ill. You know, that can also be poison. You know, and having the ability to overcome illnesses, right? The Jack of Spades actually goes into the physician or the quack doctor or the
Mm-hmm.
neophyte or the untrained or someone that's just beginning or being introduced or the initiate, right? Are all the kind of terms relating to
Mm-hmm.
the Jack of Spades. So the type of doctor that comes into it. So the physician or health aspects also come into the Seven of Diamonds. Um, so yeah, so
A little bit of
that's
it.
why I say it's a very deep card, spiritual. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. My first husband was a Seven of Diamonds, and definitely a very delicate human being, very sensitive, very deep. So,
Mhm.
one other thing, when I hear about this clubhouse and all that's happening and how it's changed so much, and I remember our efforts that we put into doing all the cards together, like the tens together or the hearts, the aces together, that kind of thing. So I wonder if that wouldn't be wise to implement again, whether it's on YouTube or in Zoom, because there's so much information when you see the reflection of somebody who's also using that energy and the way you can navigate it. Because I can see Seven of Diamonds getting smarter together.
Mm-hmm. I think
Well,
what,
that,
yeah, so I think what I have coming up next, or what I want to do, is do a podcast series that will be recording, but I don't want to do Clubhouse and I can't record it. That's why I haven't been on there, because the recording aspects. I feel like it's a little waste, and if the hallways open up, it's my issue with Clubhouse.
mm-hmm.
Or is this a waste of time for me? I'm sorry, Clubhouse and all the Clubhouse lovers, but
But it's
it's
still
just
kind of cool if you just want to have a conversation that just disappears too, right? If you want to have like a heart to heart, and like sometimes, you don't want everything recorded, you just want to talk, because who knows how free. I mean, I think we've grown to be pretty authentic on our, page here. But in some places, maybe somebody doesn't want to hear something else. I mean, I know there's times where I've thought, oh, did I say something about that person that I wouldn't want to say if they were sitting there? Like sometimes, you're talking and things go like they go. But I hear you about
Mhm.
it's our information and it's nice to have it collected. I liked when I used to look back and see how we had all of the cards and the suits and the things, because it was good conversations. It really helped us all see it bigger.
No, you're right though. I'm trying to tap into it's the Seven of Diamonds week. So what I would do is tap
Mhm.
into my Nine of Hearts and give maybe something once a month to Clubhouse,
Yeah,
record it, and just a
regular.
conversation.
Yeah,
So
swap
I
some notes.
will, yeah. So I will set my boundaries there. We're setting clear boundaries.
I can't wait. I can't wait to hear where Nick's gotten to, and everybody. Like, Endeavor, would be great to go into and hear some of the places. Like, we've had lots of Tuesdays together. We had lots of times together. It's nice to see how people grow in what they know.
Yeah, so I will try to do that as a commitment. I will, as a Nine of Hearts says, of my giving to the people, for the people. Power to the people. So that's Nine of Hearts slogan too. So power to the people. I got you. And we'll maybe a Q&A type of thing, or a series, or it depends on, we'll think about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll think about those aspects. But
Yeah, I think there is a card table house.
okay, we'll
We
see.
can say,
I don't know I don't know if you can just open up a random room anymore.
we'll look around.
Um,
But yeah, I just know that there was houses. That's all. I remember playing with the house part and then getting overwhelmed. But yeah,
mhm.
and for sure, Rashad, I hope that in the next couple of Fridays, the next one, the one after, you can join us on the family card table to talk about back to school series and working with students and their cards.
Yeah, sure. I was so with the students in the cars. I haven't been talking to them much about it. It was kind of crazy. It's been like a weird type of thing where my first day back at a particular school, the teacher comes in, he walks in and was like, I want to do a game with you all. And I was like, okay. And he pulls out the playing cards
Ah,
for a math game. Yeah, it was so weird. It was so weird. I was like, why is he playing the cards in
that's
my
awesome.
class right now? So it was kind of a thing. And then that was doing the get to know me type of thing. And when they was trying to do it, they wasn't being open and honest, and I just wanted to like put my 2 cents in, but I was like, oh, let me
Right?
just let me not.
Everybody, well, let's look
Yeah,
at your cards and get to know each
uh,
other. Birthday,
yeah,
right? Really have
right,
like
right,
each other, right?
right. So
Mm-hmm.
it was a lot of missed times, and a lot of things I, I would try to keep it kind of clear, but I am building something to kind of make it more open. I think the clothing line and those things open up a lot of space for me to be, you know, trying to cross paths. But, one-on-one conversations, when I was more of a behavior interventionist, we doing like one-on-one work with the kids, it was more I was able to get to know the cars and speak to them. But as I'm like over multiple kids in that classroom, it's kind of different, So being over multiple people, so I'm not be able to kind of focus in on the cards on a one-to-one basis as much as I want to. So it's one of those things where it's kind of changing, but it's still interesting as I if I'm at one location, I may be able to create those type of those things. But yeah, looking at the cards, even within your work, so outside of just my work, with your work, your job, your relationships, the people you work with, your coworkers, that
Hmm.
is probably really interesting as well. I really want to open up and really get to know people as the year started and see what people cards are. Uh, I've been at one location for a little time now, so I've kind of got to know a few people. So I kind of seeing personalities, traits, and those things. So I always
Yes.
find that interesting going to work.
Have you been guessing their cards?
um, Almost, kind of, sort of, yeah. Like one or two people, one or two people.
Hmm.
I had an idea. I didn't think about it too much, but I was like, they seem like a club, but I didn't get it down to a number or anything yet. But if
When
I could, if I was a guest, maybe now, maybe a Jack or a King, I'll come back and report to you what it is.
at my job, I kind of cheated because they have a birthday calendar in their sources thing. So I was like, oh, this is so great. So like I got to know everyone's card and then I just watched and I was like, oh, I know how to respond to that. I know how to respond to
Mm,
that. Like it was almost like I had an awareness of the kind of person they were. I didn't lose my authenticity, but I was aware that the way to say certain things to certain people and the timing of certain things were going to be like that, and I was like, boy, it's crazy how this is working out. And there's a couple of spots where I knew there'd be bumps, but I've been trying to like navigate myself and not saying that I'm trying to have an upper hand. I'm trying to keep everything on the table, but I'm definitely finding knowing their card supports me knowing who I'm talking to.
oh yeah, for sure. The conversation it makes it that much easier to relate and to understand
Totally.
people.
Totally.
Yeah,
I feel like over the top everyone's head, like this should just be their card, or like
right.
a little
Yeah,
it's just like
a
I
card video game.
I'm being
Yeah.
this avatar character is being regulated by this idea, and I'm trying to navigate it from a higher place.
No, that's definitely. I want to get into VR in the cards. That's my ultimate goal is to get a VR headset and teach the cards like through
Oh,
a
shut
VR.
up! That's so
Like, yeah, that'd be dope. That's my
hilarious,
next. That'd be
dude.
my
That's so
next
funny.
thing.
They could be like characters with their card numbers on top. No, that's hilarious.
Yeah, yeah, and do the whole 3D. So once I get my whole total, little setup going on as far as like laptop and VR headset. I want to
Hmm?
experiment into the VR world and like have like classes. I think that's the future, not just for me to be honest. I think that's the future
I think it's a great
um for
idea.
just teaching in general. Because it makes it interactive. You can have an all interactive world with AI. Think about it. If you implement AI into the VR world, which I think that's going to be Meta's next thing, what's going to put them
And
over top.
And then if you have the cards, kind of like how when the boys would play video games and you could pick different traits. I mean, you could pick your outfits, you could pick your hair color. I mean, you
Mhm,
could like forget about it, right? So I mean, there could
mhm,
also be ways to play your card. Do you know what I mean?
mhm,
Like almost like a D&D game. I always think about that Dungeons and Dragons game with the cards and that same kind of way you're thinking like how would we play out certain scenarios understanding and knowing certain things about ourselves or just what we choose from our innate gifts based on, what energy we have on us
mhm,
through us. Because that's kind of what D&D is. It's like you create a character, you roll dice to get random pieces put together, and then like when situations happen in the game, you're all responding based on your character and what you have a
mhm.
cheat that you can use to
In your
na-
card.
yeah, to navigate the
Mm,
whatever experience the whole set of people and like, you went in there and this guy stole all this and this is over here and you have to do this and now the three of you have to work together to save this person, that kind of stuff, or whatever
mm, mm.
stories. But so yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that is definitely there's a space for the cards definitely to
Mhm.
And I think there's already space. If you, I think, what is her name? Broad Cruz wife, I think Marie, I believe she looks at astrology and like video games, and the aspects, even just historically and characters and context. Astrology has been used in the base for a lot of things and creation of things, characters, and people, right? Without us even knowing. So
Mhm.
she do those correlations. So there's a correlation between video games and those things that's already here, but that's not really spoken of. But the next astrology game, metaphysical game, and that's on the rise. I think DGTV, I'm saying DGTV, that's like a weird, but Derek Grace, I think what he created a video game, first a board game and then a video game. But I think he's opening
But
up the lanes
something
and
like
other
that.
creators.
Remember Lewis? Wasn't Lewis making a game like that?
Oh yeah, Lewis, right? Yeah, correct. Lewis.
Louis Gomez, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, Lewis was creating, like, we're giving away gems here. Let's stop. People say
All
I
right.
talk too
Awesome.
much.
Everybody's growing great things. Okay, I'm really glad I got to talk to you. Sorry I was so late.
Oh, that's the ace of spades. You gotta keep something in the back pocket. That's the third diamond thing. Preservation and stuff. But yeah, always there go Lewis there. So still working on it. Yeah, so that's the future, I think, is having those aspects and someone creating something that is, I think, that's going to be dope. But very great, dope conversation. Next week is a Eight of Diamonds week. Eight of Diamonds is a prominent and famous card as far as what we may see out in the public. They're always working, putting themselves in the within eyesight or hands reach of people, making themselves available, always being helpful. I think they are teachers, can be very strict. So just the overall Eight of Diamonds week. So ourselves, we can take on qualities where we may show up, want to be there for people, being helpful, also being critical of ourselves can also take on imposter syndrome sometimes as well, whenever we put ourselves out there trying to create or maybe attain more money. Also, that money attained is always and helpful, and also someone may be in need, so you may have to give it away in some type of way. So they are, like I said, are caretakers a lot of times to those people that's younger to them. So the Eight of Diamonds in itself, so making money and using it or making it for good use, right? So they always have to be well aware of their deeds and making sure that they're aware of their true value and their mission. It's always to help and be charitable in some type of way, teach, educate, and also, live out their dreams, their passion, to overcome any obstacle that they may face. So it's a week of overcoming, creating value around yourself, creating value for others as well. So Eight of Diamonds week. So if you all have a task or something you want to accomplish, this is the week to kind of take it on. So anything that you want to speak to?
No, I'm just grateful. I have some insights that came through, and I'm going to do exactly that, create this week and use the energy, and I'm having fun. So thanks for keeping this up and for always teaching me something every time I come in.
Yeah, always and forever. I'm always learning. So it's my part of it now, right? Nine of clubs, nine of spades. Gotta give it. Six of diamonds. Use it, or you lose it. So we appreciate you all showing up, interacting. So your feedback is also confirmation for yourself and other people who may
Mhm.
have your card. They may have go through those like challenges. They may go through those hiccups. They may go through those those same patterns that you may have. So this is a space that we create for everyone to kind of learn and to bounce ideas off of each other, things that we're thinking of, or relationship with the cards, the patterns that we see, right? So we bring you our lives. So what do
Mhm.
you bring to the
So
table?
life is art. We're sharing lives to create the art of understanding.
Hmm. All right, so we'll see you next week, Eight of Diamonds week. If you have any questions, just hit me up. Thank you all for showing up.
Peace.